One of the things that I've really been thinking about this morning was the fact that our viewing area, it is huge. So just because you don't see something as severe in your area, it doesn't mean that a lot of people aren't dealing with intense severe weather. Meteorologist Chesley McNeil, you've been talking about all of this depends on where you are. We serve the entire viewing area, so we have to make sure everyone knows what's going on.
That's absolutely right. We've been looking at most of the higher totals, and we've been talking about this days before this, as that it would be up in the far northeastern portions of the state. That's where we've been seeing that sleet and freezing rain the longest, and that's continue up there. Here in the metro area so far, we've been seeing as much as 1/10 of an inch of ice so far, and now we have the wet weather that's out there right now. In fact, I thought, yeah, we could hear it a little bit over our studios right there, right? This is right at our studios. This is I-85, and you can see where folks are getting around. You look at the tires there where they're kicking up water at least, and so not a whole lot on as far as any freezing on the highways, at least around this particular area. Folks seem to be getting around the bend pretty good. And we've wanted to fixate our camera on this area just to see if that would freeze over, because that is an elevated surface right there. All right, you can see that rain, freezing rain right now, that's moving over our area right now as we speak. You can see it around the perimeter, becoming a little bit more scattered in nature, where we had it nice and widespread earlier this morning, actually through the overnight going into this morning, very widespread. Now that's starting to lift a little bit further off to the north. Much of what's behind this is all scattered or isolated. We are watching a line of very heavy rain that's going to continue to push in, and if the wedge holds on, if this cold air stays in place, we'll get some heavier freezing rain that will move in here. So we're not out of the woods as of yet, but we'll be waiting to see that. Certainly up here to the far northeast, we think it will hold on in some spots up here where you could see as much as a ½ inch of ice, and that's going to create the heaviness on the lines. That takes some time, folks. Takes some heaviness on the lines. Those will start to bend over. Some will start to break. Those trees will start to weigh down. Those will fall on power lines, fall in the middle of roads. And so we're still expecting a big time mess, especially up here in the northeastern corridor of the state. Over here to the west, it has been on the rainy side. For example, over toward Georgia's Rome, haven't seen much ice here at all. It has been all rain, and now things have begun to subside, at least for there. Up here to the north, you got Clayton, Mossy Creek, just north of Juneau here in Lumpkin County. We still have some light freezing rain still coming down. Where you see these purples in here, that's where it could be mixing with sleet around the area, mainly over toward the east. Mainly, I'll say from Gainesville up here to the north, or toward Toccoa, down to the south, as far south as Athens. That's where we've been seeing that sleet, a little bit more in the way of sleet, which piled up as well, mixing with that freezing rain. So we got a nice little layer of ice. I saw Joe Ripley pick up on those pieces, just crumble apart right there. That's that layer of ice. Again, up here to the north, it has been on the rainy side, and over toward the west as well. Right now, around the perimeter, we do have that rain, freezing rain coming down. So that's just going to add to our total. So it may even get up to a ½ inch here in the metro area as these isolated showers continue to push through. You got some up toward Sugar Hill right now, down toward Covington as well. Light for the most part. But again, that heavy rain will be coming through. So where will the temperatures be by the time that gets in here? Timing right now brings this line of heavy showers, possibly some thunderstorms as well, into the area around 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. That's the timing right now. Could speed up. We'll see. That area of low pressure will continue to lift to the north and try to bring in some warmer air to erode this, what we call a wedge that's over the area right now. You can see that warmer air back off to the west of us here over toward Birmingham, all the way up into Huntsville, starting to warm up a little bit. In fact, everything over here in Alabama right now has been all rain so far. We got temperatures in the 20s in some spots. You got 28 degrees in Canton, 27 in Gainesville, 27 also toward Athens, 28 right now in Covington. That's the actual air temperature that we have, just below the freezing mark in Atlanta, but probably will bottom out right there before we see those temperatures begin to go up. How high will they go? Possibly up to 40 degrees for this afternoon, again above the freezing mark, and so everything else will be on the liquid side before that cold air really starts to push back into our forecast area. Road temperatures have been above average, above freezing as well, except for 2 spots so far this morning. We've been seeing over toward Georgia 400 right at Buford Highway, and then up here on Route 76 down to 31. You're down to 30 over toward Buford Highway right on Georgia 400. And so that's a good sign as well, right? Up here toward the northeast, that ice storm warning continues to remain in effect. It got it over toward Rome, which is where we've seen the rain so far, but then down toward Atlanta and a little bit to the south as well, down toward Henry County and stretching over toward the east toward Augusta. But the major impacts will be up here to the north. And so even our winter impacts map has just updated, and you can see where we have that red right in here. right? Nice little line of it. This is where we're going to see high impacts. Now, it was including earlier parts of Forsyth County. All of Hall County was included in it, parts of Banks County as well, but that has backed off just a little bit, which is a good sign for us. That's some good news, all right? We're still talking about medium impacts, or, you're looking at maybe up to a quarter of an inch to a half inch in these areas here as well. And even looking better in Atlanta, where we had the orange over us, and now we see in the yellow. So for the rest of the day, at least, that's the kind of impacts that we could continue to have. When we talk about impacts, you're talking about the amount of weight that a half an inch of ice would do to a power line. You're talking about 500 pounds. That's going to weigh that down, all right? Even make these poles begin to bend inward or even snap depending on the weight, right? And so also you got to factor in the winds. Winds will start to pick up this afternoon, and that ice that forms around the power line forms in a teardrop, and these act as kind of like dumbbells, right? They're slamming into each other as they begin to sway along the roads, along the power lines there. And also the roads, that's our other concern, again, with the ice that's out there. Typically the overpasses. Typically what happens is the road loses its heat kind of uniformly, right? But where we have an overpass or a bridge, that's where we see it drop faster because of the wind that's able to get under or in and around the overpass, and so that cools off faster. So you get ice forming there first, all right? And so you may be driving good along the road, and then you get to an overpass, you get to an off-ramp, and then it starts to get a little slick on you. So slow down, or don't go out at all, please, all right? Huge system that we're dealing with here that extends all the way over toward Albuquerque, all the way up to Maine. That's where you see that pink in there. That's where we have that winter storm warning in effect. We're looking at anywhere from snow to sleet and freezing rain, all the way to rain and a couple thunderstorms. We already saw a couple down into Montgomery early this morning, pushing through that area. But look at the snow up here to the north. You're talking about areas like St. Louis, Cincinnati, up toward Washington, D.C. We just had a live shot there with the Weather Channel and Paul Goodloe, meteorologist Paul Goodloe, looking at anywhere from 6 to 10 inches. And I think that will be the case really from Richmond, Virginia, all the way up into Philadelphia, possibly into New York as well, 6 to 10 inches of snow. Now, notice how this freezing rain is starting to creep a little bit further to the north as well. And so they're expecting to see that ice on top of the snow that they received. It's not a great thing for them at all, but at least they got the snow first. And so that area of low pressure will continue to push to the north, and so this is going to impact a whole lot of folks, especially up and down the eastern seaboard. So if you had plans to maybe get out and go up to the north or even out to the west, maybe over toward Dallas, likely it's not going to happen, at least not for today. You're going to have to give it some time, folks. Welcome to Atlanta. Enjoy yourself. All right, we got some ice out there, though. You don't want to travel too much. Scattered variety of ice will continue as we head through the rest of the morning. Here we are by 11 o'clock. We're still dealing with it in some spots like Canton, over towards Gainesville, up into Rabun County as well. We'll be dealing with that ice. Maybe even as that heavy rain moves in, that wedge holds on. So we're talking about heavy freezing rain pushing down as well. So we'll see if that begins to erode. Certainly our models are telling us it will happen for Atlanta, but we'll be watching that as well. Down here toward Thomaston, see that magenta color there? Very heavy rain. A couple thunderstorms could move through this area as well. Those thunderstorms could pack quite a punch. We're talking about winds in excess of 58 miles per hour with a few of those thunderstorms down there. Maybe a tornado or two, a brief spin up is certainly possible. Can't rule that out, but for the most part, we'll be dealing with the winds. And winds continue to pick up back behind this as well, even after the precipitation ends. We'll be looking at those winds shifting to more northwesterly, and they will start to pick up. Gusts could be as high as 30 miles per hour. That, coupled with what's already on those trees and the power lines, could begin to be enough just to knock those over. And so if you're saying, hey man, we've already had this rain, I see the ice on the power lines, I still got power, you guys don't know what you're talking about. When that wind starts to pick up, that could lead to more problems, which is why we have extended our 11 Alive impact alert because of the cold air that will be coming in and those winds back behind this system. So it'll extend into Monday. Monday will be a very cold day, despite the fact that we'll have the sunshine around. Those northwest winds will be with us. Temperatures will only rise to around the freezing mark, maybe just above for a time before it goes right back down. Even the overnight lows on Tuesday morning, starting off on Tuesday morning, will be down into the teens as those winds begin to back off just a little bit. Because of that, we have a cold advisory. You can see all the counties highlighted here in the light blue. Rome over to Athens, Atlanta, down through Macon. We're looking at wind chills Monday morning between 4 and 10 a.m. between 0 and 15 degrees. Yeah. Fortunately, a lot of our kids are out of school. That was very wise of the superintendents to do that because, again, any kind of ice that forms, and even if it melts the day before, right, at night, it will refreeze. With the winds, that could blow that around a little bit, okay? Or off towers, trees, that ice begins to fall. That could do some damage. So you may want to think about parking your car away from trees, right? Because the limbs could fall, the tree itself could fall, or even the ice falling off of that tree. 34 degrees for the high temperature on Monday. That's our forecast high. We'll see if we'll get that high, actually. 16 degrees start on Tuesday morning. Very, very cold. We'll get up to 40 for the afternoon high. We should be in the 50s this time of year. We're going to remain below that as we head through the rest of the week. In fact, we'll be dry for the rest of the week as well, with temperatures heading into the weekend right around that 40-degree mark. So there you have it, folks. Again, stay off the roads if you can. Just watch us. We'll continue to entertain you and let you know what's going on around your neighborhood.